This class is all about strength and control. So it is number 3 of a 4-part series where we started very basic breath, belly, pelvic floor connections, working there, then building into a little bit of stamina, a little bit more core strength, and now we're working on straight up strength and control. So we're going to just do 3 exercises, but we're going to do them 3 different ways. So we're going to do at least 3 reps, and each time it's going to build. So you can always start on the first level of the series. You could go to the middle level, or you can boost it up at the maximum. So you can make it your own and curate for wherever you are. There are a few props that you may want to have. Head support, always, because we are going to be laying on your back. I want to make sure you're gauging your head support based off of, can you get your head, your ribs and shoulders, and your butt pretty grounded on the mat without any strain in your neck and shoulders and any strain in your lower back. 2, I have some dumbbell weights. I've got heavier we're going to be doing some squatting, so I do have heavier for later. And I have a little bit lighter. These are just 5 pounds. You could do, again, nothing, or you could do 1 pound. It doesn't matter. And that's just going to be for our arms when we do some core support. And I have a band here. If you have just a long sort of stretchy band like this, you can tie it into a loop. This is about 8 or 9 inches. If you want to buy one of these, I'll link it below. I like these for the work that we're doing today. You might prefer those fabric bands because they don't roll up on themselves. So if you prefer the fabric bands, also known as booty bands, I'll link those below as well. But I have both, so pick whatever you like. All right, let's get started. You're gonna start on your back. Okay, resting on your back, you are gonna make sure that you pad up your head if you need to, again, to get the shoulders, the ribs, and the pelvis grounded. So I love to kind of wiggle, pick my butt up, pull it away from my ribs. I'm trying to create as much space between my head and my tail. We're gonna start with an exercise called dying bug or dead bug, whatever you wanna call it, something like that. Mainly because it resembles a bug being on its back. We're gonna start with a very modified version because when we are rebuilding our strength here and trying to rebuild our strength and our stability, sometimes we can't start with the arms up and the legs up without it going into pushing our belly up, splitting our diastasis, or like putting too much pressure on the pelvic floor, or arching our back, or pulling in our neck. So there's all these things. So we're gonna peel it back on this first one. And we're gonna do one side at a time. So I'm gonna bring my feet together, find your position, make sure you're not too tucked, so you do still have some weight on your sacrum and pelvis. Bring your feet, your knees, and your hips and kind of squeeze it all to center so we get a little leg, inner thigh, pelvic floor, hip kind of connection. Pulling my belly back, arms to the ceiling, but my shoulder blades grounded. And I'm just going to pick up one leg. Now my leg that's still on the ground, I'm pulling slightly, not enough to like pull my neck, but just enough to keep that butt, that side of my pelvis weighted and my sacrum level. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach the opposite arm and leg away. So without moving from hips to ribs, I'm going to tap my toes down as I reach my opposite arm out. I'm going to go, did I move? I'm going to exhale. I'm going to pull back in. I'm going to inhale into my ribs, into my back. A little bit into my belly, but not too much in my belly because I don't want my back to arch. I'm going to exhale, hug, gather pelvic floor elevator, belly pulls in, leg and arm pull back. I'm doing 5 on one side. Inhale out. Exhale in, that's number 3. Inhale out, keep the elbow straight. Only take the arm. You notice I'm not really taking my arm all the way to the floor. I'm just going the amount that I can keep the stability across ribs, waist, pelvis. One more on this side, inhaling out. Exhaling in. Maybe I want to test the waters to see if during our next round you might do both legs up. You go, okay, well, just switch sides. I'm going to bring that other leg up. Did I move? Did I rock? Did I pop my ribs open? Did I pooch my belly up? Did I lift my back? Did my shoulders strain? And then I'm going to hug everything center, so squeeze my legs together, slowly drop my other leg down, pull with that bottom foot just enough, and then tap the toes and reach the opposite arm, breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly, waistline pulling in. If you liked from the first class the swaddling that we did, you really liked that feeling, that feedback, wrap something around your waist so you could feel that inhale, that expansion, especially in the back and the sides. And then as you exhale, think, I'm gonna pull my belly in 2 seconds before I move my arm and my leg. 2 more like this. Inhale, reach. Exhale in. Just 5 on each side. Taking your time. Because this, I know it seems like very simple, but it might be enough for right now. And then bring both feet down. Bring both arms down. And that's that, right? So that's the level 1. We're gonna roll to your side and then come all the way up to standing. So you could roll to your side and just come up. You could roll all the way to hands and knees. Lift your knees off, walk your hands back, and come all the way up. And now we're gonna go into squats. We are gonna eventually go into deep squats, so I want you to find a comfortable stance for you. Make sure your shoulders are comfortable. You want your ribs to be back over your pelvis. I always think like a little bit of panini press between the front and the back of my body. I want my pubic bone and tailbone to aim straight down between my inner ankle, not forward and not back. And you're just gonna squat down, and I want you to go, again, slow. My hips are not here. I'm not hinging here, right? I'm hinging in the deepest part of my hip joint, going down, feet wide, knees over-ish my ankles, trying to do that so I can really get this crease in my hips, belly supported. And then when I come up, I'm trying to get my hips over my ankles rather than knees back, then I'm in my back to lift up, right? So we're gonna go down and up 2. I don't care, maybe you just go here. Maybe that's all you got right now. Just that little hip hinge, that's fine. 3 and 4 coming up. Maybe the next one you're like, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit farther. Am I rounding? Am I arching? You wanna just be neutral. It's about the power from your feet to your hips. And 6, you go down the amount that's right for you. 7, breathing. 8, can I get those back ribs to lift? 9, just one more. So we're gonna do about 10 in each position. And then you're gonna make your way back down to the mat. So I like to go down into a squat as low as I can, then maybe share some weight into my hands, bring my knees down, and you're gonna come to rest on your side. Now if you need head support, you've got your head support here, you can lay on your side and pad up, or you might just wanna use your arm. So I want you to do whatever feels good to you. I like to line up with the back edge of my mat, so my butt to my head is with the back edge of my mat, contain those ribs. You're gonna bring your feet a little forward, and you're gonna bend your bottom leg, You're gonna bend your bottom leg. Your top leg, you're just gonna lift up, and then you're gonna slowly bring it back. And you're gonna see, can I find this balance in the bottom hip where I'm rested in a good place for you? Everyone's a little bit different. And then the bottom side of my rib cage. So the bottom rib cage, but on its side. Sometimes we're like a side and a little forward or side and a little back. Try and find the pure side of the hip and the pure side of the ribs. Bring that top leg back, flex that top foot. So you're gonna reach that heel. I like to look down the side of my body and see ankle, knee, hip, ribs. Take your top hand right in front of the belly and the rib cage and think, I'm gonna pull my belly and rib cage away from that. I do have a little lift, a little bit of lift away from the mat, right opposite my navel. So if I go from my belly button down, there's a little bit of air right there. And then you're just gonna lower the leg down a little bit. You're gonna reach to that and you're gonna lift up for 1. I'm only lifting up as high as I can keep my leg in alignment with my head and my waist long. So if I go up here, I'm going too high. I've shortened my waist, my bottom waist is there. Maybe my leg has come forward. So I'm gonna try and keep all of that aligned. So I'm really getting this side to side leg movement right there. There should be a little dip that comes into the side of your butt when you lift your foot up. And you're just gonna do 10 of these. So we're in like number 4-ish. 5. It's not a huge range of motion. Keep thinking about the containment at the front of those ribs. 7. 8. 9. Last one, 10. Bend that leg in, bring it down, Use your arms to come up, swing your legs around to the other side, staying aligned with the back edge of your mat. Whatever head padding you need. Find the waist, bottom leg is bent, top leg stretches out, it pulls back into alignment with you. So heel to head. Take the top hand in front of the belly and the ribs and draw the ribs and the belly away from that forearm, lifting your bottom waist, and you're gonna lift up and lower for 10 times. So we have 1 and 2. I imagine my top foot on a wall, and as I lift up, it's gotta stay on that wall. So it's sliding up a wall and it's sliding down the wall. It doesn't get to pull away. 4, 5, and 6. Just that sides to side. 7, 8, 9. This leg wants to move forward really badly. 10. And when I don't let that leg move forward, I don't go into here, but I really stay into here. I'm like, ooh, high glute medius, which is very important for our balance when we're standing. And then you bring that leg together. You use your arms to sit up, and we're gonna do everything all over again. So those 3 exercises, we're gonna boost it up. So the next thing we're gonna do is go back to that dying bug. You're gonna come back to your back, whatever head support you need to make sure that your ribs are grounded. So I'm gonna keep it folded up because I feel really nice. Make sure my ribs are dropped down. Shoulder blades relax, wiggle around. Maybe do a little pelvic tilt towards your face, towards your feet, and find a place that's in between or that's neutral for you. I'm trying to think pubic bone and hip bones level-ish, right? And everyone's body is a little bit different in what feels right. I want it to feel good in your body, where you have the most length from head to tail, but you also feel like you can get the most support. So I'm gonna drop and contain my ribs, feel my waist draw in. Arms are gonna reach up, shoulder blades down. I'm gonna bring my feet together. I'm gonna lift my heels up. On my exhale, I'm gonna gather pelvic floor, elevator, and belly as I drag my feet to my butt and slowly lift my feet up. Now, you can play with this. So you can take your knees a little bit away to challenge the belly a little more, or you can pull the knees in to make it a little bit easier. But I want you to make sure that you're holding from your shoulders, really, rib cage more specifically, down to your hips, stable. So when you move your legs around, when you move your arms around, we're not arching, curling. All right, so opposite arm and leg, shoulders grounded, belly's pulling back. Inhale as you take opposite arm and leg out. Foot does not have to tap to the floor. It might just go 2 inches down, it might go 2 feet down. Same with the arm. Exhale, pull it center. The bigger range of motion, the more challenging it is, right? So the bigger you go, the more it is. So keep it small. If you're like, I can do this compared to the easier variation that we've done, I can do this, but the range of motion is about halfway. It's not the full range of motion yet. Inhale out, and you're alternating now, which is wonderful for your brain. Shoulder blades grounded, ribs are grounded, collarbones, neck and throat are nice and free. Keep breathing, about 10 of these. Take your time with your breath. Who knows what number I'm on? Let's do 4 more sets. Where do you need to activate your waist, your belly a little bit more? Where do you need to connect into the pelvic floor? When in your range of motion? Inhale out. Exhale in. One more time, each side. Bring the arms down, bring the feet to the butt, and with control, bring your feet down to the ground. And you're gonna roll to your side, hands and knees if you like, and we're gonna come all the way back up to standing. So you're gonna roll to your side, you could push up from there, you could keep rolling to hands and knees. If you got your band, you're gonna use it next. So I'm gonna take my band. You could do this on the ground, by the way. I'm gonna take my band and I'm gonna take it around my thighs. I'm gonna make it wide. It will tend to roll up, especially if I kind of go in and out a lot. I'm just going a little bit above my knees, right? Again, everyone's got different body proportions, so you might need to adjust it from where I have it. All right, step wide enough where you have some tension on the bands. If your body needs it, you can have a little bit of turnout. We're gonna see, can we go a little deeper in our squat without grounding our body, really getting into our hips. Make sure that you feel the ball of the foot nice and wide, the toes nice and wide, as well as the heel. And you're gonna go down, I'm pushing out against the band. The tendency is to whoop, so you get to push against that band. And then I'm gonna come up, one, simple. Going down, if your knees have an issue, just go down this far and come back up, right? Another thing with the knees is make sure you're back in your heels, so you're not putting all this pressure forward into the knee, get back in the heels. And up. Another thing is you could lift your heels, so you could put a little padding underneath your ankle or your heels, so your ankles have a little lift, and you can do your squats there. And you're gonna go down and up. Maybe that's number 4 and 5. You go down the amounts right for you. See if you can let your head, neck, chest, ribs back be free. There's some stability in your belly, so using those abdominals, you're just working. 7, I'm really thinking, can I hinge in that hip joint? My hip joint is really here. It's not out here, although we feel it and see it from there. It's really deep, deep, deep in the middle there. Can I keep my pressure against my band? Let's say 3 more. Who's counting? Certainly not me. And 1 more. And then we'll make your way back down onto your side on the mat. So a lot of level changing with this. So I say keep the band, go into your squat that's right for you, walk the hands a little forward, maybe take a second, walk the knees back, take a little moment, make this an exercise where you've got your knees hovering, your belly lifting, your ribs lifting, knees pushing against the band, and you lower down. Then you're gonna take the band away. We are gonna use it on the next round, but not this round. And you're gonna lay on your side. Pad up, aligning yourself with the back edge of your mat. Now we're gonna take the feet forward to the front edge of the mat, or the front corner of the mat. And I'm just gonna look at my legs. I'm gonna think about reaching my top leg a little bit longer. So my top heel becomes a little bit longer than my bottom heel. I'm gonna lengthen out in opposition through the top of my head, my hand right in front of my belly and my ribs, right where the ribs separate and then it goes into the belly. And I'm just gonna think, pull that back, but lengthen from head to tail, lengthen my top leg. We're gonna keep the foot pointed and we're gonna lift it up and we're gonna bring it back, roll it parallel as you bring it back and reach for your toes more than you think. Now, it's a little harder to balance with the straight leg, right? So you do the best you can. If you prefer to go back to the first variation, you do that, right? So that would be with the leg bent. Gives you a little bit more of like a kickstand vibe. All right, here you are. You're gonna lower and lift that leg. Foot to head in alignment for 1. Head to tail lengthening, or head to heel, head to toe lengthening here. 2, 3. Do not let your top waist shorten. This is a hip movement, right? Core stability, hip movement side to side here. So you come up to where you feel those glutes working, but you don't feel this hiking up, that hip hiking up. Keep your hand there if you need to. Hold, like push it away from you and be like, don't you move as you lift and lower. As you lift and lower, don't let it move. Reach your leg longer. Get your quadriceps working to straighten your leg. Point, reach to the toes. So in this one, I think instead of the heel sliding up or the foot sliding up and down the wall, I think about my toes having like little pencils on them and they're reaching and they're drawing on the wall, which is what my children do. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs together. Bend the knees. Use your arms to come up. Swing your legs around to the other side. Get my head padding out of the way. Bring my feet forward to the front corner of the mat, even though my butt to my head are with the back edge of the mat. Hand in front of my ribs and belly so I can pull away from that forearm. head to tail lengthening. I'm gonna reach to both legs. I'm gonna reach to my top leg a little bit more so I feel my heel slide just a smidge longer than my bottom leg. Lift it up, bring it back. Foot to head. So toes to head in one line. So I'm really moving pure side to side in this hip joint as I lift and lower. So again, you can take your hand to be like, am I doing that? Right? Palpate, feel your body. Am I doing this lift and lower with the side of my hip deepening when my foot lifts? Am I really keeping my knee straight? Can I keep my hips square, facing forward? Can I keep my belly pulling in as I do that? Can I keep my waist from shortening as I lift my leg up? It's harder for me on this side to keep that length. Keep breathing with it. It's about 4, so about 6 more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, bring your legs together. Bend your knees. Use your arms to help you come up. And last but not least, our third set, right? So going back to dying bug. I'm going to take my weights, my lighter set of weights, and you could use the same set the whole time. I'm gonna put them on either side of my mat so that they're easy to grab, and I'm gonna grab this band. So maybe you have the dumbbells, but you don't have the band. Work with the dumbbells, don't worry about the band. All right, wiggle around. Should be easier, like I notice my body's a lot more comfortable getting grounded onto the mat. We're gonna take this, you could take it around your thighs, but we're gonna take it around your feet. So just bend the knees in, take the band around your feet. You're gonna press so you have a little bit of, you're not trying to like, push, you're just trying to pull a little bit of tension, just so your band doesn't collapse, right? You're gonna grab your weights, you're gonna stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Make sure your neck is open, shoulder blades, ribs are grounded, and position your leg into your level of tabletop. Now, you could add the weights to any of these variations. So if the leg really starts to pull in your low back and your ribs come up and pop open in the front and come off the mat, maybe you do one leg up at a time, but you decided to add the weights. All right, so find your position that's right for you. You're gonna inhale, you're gonna do opposite arm and leg. So I'm gonna push one foot down. I gotta hold the other leg stable. Arms, elbows straight, pressing, and coming back up. Alternate. And up. Alternate, breathing. This is 2. 3. And back center. 3. 4. I keep my feet flexed because it just helps me keep the tension on the band. 5. Whew. It's so funny. I see my foot when I get pulled by the band. Can I get my shoulders? I start to focus so much on my legs that it kind of, I feel like I lose my arm. I'm going to adjust my band just a little bit. It's kind of rolling up on me. There we go. Is my belly coming up? I'm gonna try to keep it down. I just, use your own eyes, your own hands on your body to help you get a sense. Because sometimes we need help with our proprioception, sometimes we need help with our interoception, a lot of times with the interoception. But even proprioception, where we get a physical feedback, is challenging because we just are not always used to thinking about it throughout your day. So a little extra hands on or eyes on something can help. You'll start to feel your hip flexors and quadriceps activate a little bit more with this band around your feet. And that's okay, because that's part of your core and trunk stability is a hip flexor. Your deep hip flexors, your psoas and your iliacus are also part of your trunk stabilizers, which is going to help you keep your trunk stable when we move into the next part, which is squats with the band and with weight. All right. Bring your knees in maybe to your chest, bring your elbows down, the weights come down. Take the band and move it up. This time, instead of putting it around your thighs, I want you to put it around the calves. And you're gonna bring your feet down. Move your weights, unless you're gonna use the same weight for your squats. In that case, keep them nearby, but the smaller weights, I'm gonna move out of my way. I have found that dumbbell weights are some of the most dangerous in the space to trip over. So you're gonna come to your hands and knees. Keep a little tension on your band. Hands and knees, head, chest, belly, ribs, all that good stuff lifting. Walk my hands back. Shift some weight into my feet. Work through my hips to come up. I'm gonna waddle around. Step my feet wide, and I'm gonna grab my weights. Okay, so you could do this with just the band around the thighs. I just like when I do the weighted ones, I like to have a little band around my calves just to hold me stable, right? I've got my weights. You can choose as much or as little weight as possible. See if you can gather a little pelvic floor and belly to withstand the extra load, right? And you're gonna go down as far as you can and come up. I'm not trying to take, there is like a deadlift variation that we could do, but we are practicing getting our hips low and coming back up. Moving here, instead of moving through my neck and my back, feet to hips, feet to butt. 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, just 10 of these, and 9, one more, and 10. Then wherever you are, if you've got heavy weight or light weight, you're gonna go down cautiously, drop your weights. You're gonna move your band back up your thighs. So again, let the knees somewhere around your thighs. You're gonna take yourself into a squat, come down onto your knees, and lay on your side. Now, the second my knees came together, my band rolled in on itself. That happens every time. That's where the fabric bands are really helpful. All right. And again, the only reason you need to worry about the band rolling in is because it's painful for the IT band. So don't worry about it if it does that to you and you're not worried about it. See, it's gonna do this over and over again. So I'm gonna get it untangled. I'm gonna pull it all the way back up. So much for my seamless transition. All right, if I keep a little tension, it should stay there. Because when I transitioned, I lost that tension. Okay, head support or no head support, totally up to you. You've got the band around your thighs. You are going to straighten both legs so that's a little more challenging for your balance. Again, keep the bottom leg bent if you need to. Top foot forward, bottom foot forward, top leg's gonna come back. Reach, reach, reach. Let's flex the foot so you can imagine the foot on the wall, belly pulling in and up. Reach longer than you think from head to heel, and you're gonna lower down, and you're gonna lift up for 1 and 2. No shortening in your waist. Keep the pelvis stacked, keep the ribs back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, hold up there, 10, see if you could stay there, point your toes, reach your leg a little bit longer, circle just 4 times in each direction, 4, 3, don't do it from your knee or your ankle, really from the hip joint, go the other direction, focus on the back and the up, that's the part we cheat, keep your pelvis and your ribs stable, 3, 4, bring your legs together, bend your knees, use your arms to come up, swing your legs around to the other side. Line up with the back edge of your mat. Bring your feet forward. Flex your feet. Lift your top leg up. Bring the top leg back. Bottom leg stays forward, bent or straight, whatever's right for you. Stack everything. Heel to head long. Keep those ribs contained. Keep that belly contained as you lift up and down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep the pelvis stable, 8, 9, hold up there, 10, point your toes, reach a little bit longer because maybe you've just shortened just a little bit in the waist, reach, ribs, circle the leg for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1, go the other direction for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring the legs together, bend the knees, use your arms, come all the way up. If you've got a band, toss it to the side. All right, so 3 exercises done 3 different ways to make it your own. So you can really build upon each. You could do 3 sets of the first variation until you feel strong enough to move to the second variation. You could get to 3 sets of those, then you can move to the third variation. Maybe you do something where you blend the first, the second, and the third class, but you only do 1 set of each thing, or you run through it twice. Just depends on how much time you have and also how much stamina you feel like you've got there, how much strength and stamina you've got. So that control is a really big element in this one, hinging in the hips, both front and back when we're doing lifting our legs up, when we're doing our squats, and side to side when we're doing the side legs. Making sure we really keep the trunk stable, right? So it's that trunk and core stability. That's the thread here. So you're not letting your pelvis and your spine and your ribs guide the movement of your limbs. You're also testing how much load can your core structure, that volume, pressure-based system, how much load can it take and including your pelvic floor? How much load can it take right now? How much load can it take if you did this every day in a week? How much can it do in a month? And so you slowly start to gauge like, oh, I can do a little bit more now. I can do a little bit more weight. I can do few more reps. I can pick up my kid, or I can jump on the trampoline, and things don't shift or leak as fast as they used to. That's what we're looking for. And you're only looking at 1% changes, right? Little bitty gains really over time accumulate, and that's how you rebuild. It's not that you have to restructure your whole life, start a new program, do anything like that. It's these small, consistent commitments that can really get you somewhere. All right, until next time, keep moving.